Hello, family and friends, and happy Easter. Thanks for coming back to my channel. I'm Shauna. Thanks for being here. Today is Easter Sunday, or some would say Resurrection Sunday. And thank God that there is a such thing as Resurrection Sunday, because Friday was a time for weeping, with Good Friday and the crucifixion. But today is all about celebrating Jesus's arrival back. He is risen from the grave, or from the tomb. All right. And the ironic thing about it is, us reading the chronological Bible, we're continuing on in our reading. We're not skipping to the story of Easter. But hey, we committed to our chronological read, so let's get that out the way. Let's say a quick prayer. Lord, thank you for every single soul who's gathered here today. Thank you for wisdom, knowledge, understanding to gain some insight and inspiration from your text. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, so I'll do a quick review from yesterday. 2 Samuel, we saw that David was anointed king with a caveat. He was anointed king of Judah, not king of Israel, because Mr. Abner, the commander of Saul's army, decided that one of Saul's remaining sons, Ishbosheth, needed to be the king. And so we have a divided kingdom of Israel, with David only having Judah and Ishbosheth continuing to reign over all the other tribes. And so I was like, wow, kingdom divided. So of course, what do you see in 2 Samuel chapter 2? The Battle of Gibeon, because you got two kings, so they're gonna start fighting. So here we have Israel versus Judah, the two kingdoms. So the two commanders of both armies met. So Joab is the commander of David's army. Abner is the commander of Ishbosheth's army. And so they met, and they took 12 warriors from each side. So on David's side, they had 12 warriors, and on Ishbosheth's side, they had 12 warriors, and they were going to fight each other to see who win, and then that can determine who's going to be the king. Well, they killed each other, so it was a draw. So what happens? They went to war and started fighting. And so in 2 Samuel, the 3rd chapter, we saw that actually at the end of chapter 2, David had lost 19 men and Ishbosheth had lost 360. And so you have the war between the house of Saul, the house of David, and David's army is getting stronger, while Saul's former army, not Saul, but Ishbosheth's, Saul's son, his army is getting weaker. All right, so that was chapter 2 of 2 Samuel. 2 Samuel chapter 3, it only had us reading verses 1 through 5, and that's where we met David's wives. So, well, he had 2 wives, and so all the other women must have been concubines. But look at David. He had 6 sons by 6 different women. What? I was like, okay. Naughty David. So you already know there's going to be some drama going on there, but we don't know of any yet, because he just named in verses 1 through 5, we just met the women, the mothers of each son. Wow. All right, and then moving on, our reading took us to 2 Samuel chapter 23, and here we only did 8 through 17. And so here we see the development of David's mighty warriors. So his army split into 2 main groups. 3 elite soldiers are in this elite ultra group. And then this other group is 30 elite warriors. So 2 Samuel 23 just kind of described who these elite warriors were and their accomplishments. So I won't go back over it, but just so you know, that's what that is about. And with that, let's just get started so that we can move on and have a great Resurrection Sunday. I don't want to keep you. And I was like, wow, we got a gift. We only have 2 chapters today. Yesterday it was like 6. So today we only have 2 chapters. We're going to finish 2 Samuel 3rd chapter, 6 through 39, and then all of 2 Samuel 4. So let's get going. 2 Samuel, 3rd chapter, verse 6. While there was war between the house of Saul and the house of David, Abner was making himself strong in the house of Saul. Now Saul had a concubine whose name was Rizpah, the daughter of and Ishbosheth said to Abner, "Why have you gone into my father's concubine?" Then Abner was very angry over the words of Ishbosheth and said, "Am I a dog, head of Judah? To this day I keep showing steadfast love to the house of Saul, your father, to his brothers and to his friends, and have not given you into the hand of David, and yet you charge me today with a fault concerning a woman?" Oh, God do so to Abner and more also, if I do not accomplish for David what the Lord has sworn to him, to transfer the kingdom of the house of Saul and set up the throne of David over Israel and over Judah, from Dan to Beersheba. And Ishbosheth could not answer Abner another word because he feared him. Look at Abner. See, Abner made Ishbosheth king. Ishbosheth don't seem like he was raising up to be king. He just was, Abner just kind of snatched him up saying, "Oh, this is Saul's heir. He's going to be our king," because he knows he can overpower him. And pretty much it's kind of like a pseudo way of Abner to be king, right? And we see that here just now. 12. And Abner sent messengers to David on behalf, saying, "To whom does the land belong? Make your covenant with me, and behold, my hand shall be with you to bring over all Israel to you." And he said, "Good, I will make a covenant with you. But one thing I require of you, that is, you shall not see my face unless you first bring Michal, Saul's daughter, when you come to see my face." Then David sent messengers to Ishbosheth, Saul's son, saying, "Give me my wife, Michal, for whom I paid the bridal price of 100 foreskins of the Philistines." Oh, that tickled me. It brought me back to he actually paid 200 foreskins, remember? But the price was 100. He's right. But he brought back Saul double for his trouble. "You want 100 foreskins? Here's 2. I had to tickle at that. All right, 15. So, and Ishbosheth sent and took her from her husband Paltiel, the son of Laish, but her husband went with her, weeping after her, all the way to Bahurim. Then Abner said to him, "Go, return," and he returned. 17. And Abner conferred with the elders of Israel, saying, "For some time past you have been seeking David as king over you. Now bring it about, for the Lord has promised David, saying, by the hand of my servant David, I will save my people Israel from the hand of the Philistines and from the hand of their enemies." Abner also spoke to Benjamin, and then Abner went to tell David at Hebron all that Israel and the whole house of Benjamin thought good to do. 20. When Abner came with 20 men to David at Hebron, David made a feast for Abner and the men who were with him. And Abner said to David, "I will arise and go and will gather all Israel to my lord the king, that they may make a covenant with you, and that you may reign over all your heart desires." So David sent Abner away, and he went in peace. 22. Just then the servants of David arrived with Joab from the raid, bringing much spoil with them. But Abner was not with David at Hebron, for he had sent him away, and he had gone in peace. When Joab and all the army that was with him came, it was told Joab, "Abner the son of Ner came to the king, and he has let him go, and he has gone in peace." Then Joab went to the king and said, "What have you done? Behold, Abner came to you. Why is it that you have sent him away, so that he is gone? You know that Abner the son of Ner came to deceive you, and to know you're going out and you're coming in, and to know all that you are doing." 26. When Joab came out from David's presence, he sent messengers after Abner, and they brought him back from the cistern of Sirah. But David did not know about it. And when Abner returned to Hebron, Joab took him aside into the midst of the gate to speak with him privately, and there he struck him in the stomach, so that he died for the blood of Ashiel his brother. Afterwards, when David heard of it, he said, I and my kingdom are forever guiltless before the Lord for the blood of Abner, the son of Ner. May it fall upon the head of Joab and upon all his father's house, and may the house of Joab never be without one who has a discharge, or who is leprous, or who holds a spindle, or who falls by the sword, or who lacks bread. 30. So Joab and Abishai, his brother, killed Abner because he had put their brother Ashiel to death in the battle at Gibeon. 31. Then David said to Joab and to all the people who were with him, tear your clothes and put on sackcloth and mourn before Abner. And King David followed the bier. They buried Abner at Hebron, and the king lifted up his voice and wept at the grave of Abner, and all the people wept. And the king lamented for Abner, saying, should Abner die as a fool dies? Your hands were not bound, your feet were not fettered. As one falls before the wicked, you have fallen. And all the people wept again over him. Then all the people came to persuade David to eat bread while it was yet day. But David swore, saying, God, do to me and more also if I taste bread or anything else till the sun goes down. And all the people took notice of it, and it pleased them as everything that the king did pleased all the people. So all the people and all of Israel understood that day that it had not been the king's will to put to death Abner the son of Ner. And the king said to his servants, do you not know that the prince and the great man has fallen this day in Israel? And it was gentle today, though anointed king. These men, the sons of Zeruiah, are more severe than I. The Lord repay the evildoer according to his wickedness. Okay, so they killed Abner. I won't review that. I'm just plug on and get the reading out the way, and then I'll have a little review tomorrow. All right. Ishbosheth murdered. So Abner is the king, is the commander of Saul's army, which is now Ishbosheth's army. And now Abner was killed, and now Ishbosheth murdered. So let's find out what happened there. 2 Samuel chapter 4. When Ishbosheth, Saul's son, heard that Abner had died at Hebron, his courage failed, and all Israel was dismayed. Now Saul's son had two men who were captains of raiding bands. The names of one was Baanah, and the name of the other Rechab, sons of Rimron, a man of Benjamin from Beeroth. 4. Jonathan, the son of Saul, had a son who was crippled in his feet. He was 5 years old when the news about Saul and Jonathan came from Jezreel, and his nurse took him up and fled. And as she fled in her haste, he fell and became lame, and his name was Mephibosheth. Now the sons of Rimmon the Beerothite, Rechab and Baanah, set out, and about the heat of the day they came to the house of Ishbosheth as he was taking his noonday rest. And they came into the midst of the house as if to get wheat, and they stabbed him in the stomach. Then Rechab and Baanah, his brother, escaped. When they came into the house, as he lay on his bed in his bedroom, they struck him and put him to death and beheaded him. They took his head and went by the way of the Arba all night, and brought the head of Ishbosheth to David at Hebron. And they said to the king, I just lost my place. All right. And they said to the king, here is the head of Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, your enemy, who sought your life. The Lord has avenged my lord, the king, this day on Saul and on his offspring. 9. But David answered Rechab and Baanah, his brother, the sons of Rimron, the Beerothite, as the Lord lives, who has redeemed my life out of every adversity, when one told me, behold, Saul is dead, and thought he was bringing good news, I seized him and killed him at Ziklag, which was the reward I gave him for his news. How much more, when wicked men have killed a righteous man, in his own house, on his bed, shall I now require his blood at your hands and destroy you from the earth? And David commanded his young men, and they killed them and cut off their hands and feet and hanged them beside the pool at Hebron. But they took the head of Ishbosheth and buried it in the tomb of Abner at Hebron. Ooh-wee. Well, again, I won't even recap any of that. We're going to just say our goodbyes. I do have one little church announcement. My dear friend Adam in Seattle area, he has a birthday today. We were neighbors when I lived in Seattle area, and he's a very, very good dad. And we watched each other's kids grow up, partially in person and the other part on Facebook, like many of us. Well, friends, have a blessed, wonderful, wonderful rest of your Resurrection Sunday. Enjoy every moment and come back tomorrow. Okay, bye.